500,000 miles. That's not a typo. That's not a fluke. That's reality. And the craziest part? The car still runs like it just rolled out of the factory. I bought it for $4,200, less than a used iPhone, and it purrs like a brand new Lexus. No smoke, no weird noises, no dashboard full of warning lights, just smooth, reliable engineering that refuses to die. Now you might think I just got lucky, found some unicorn on Craigslist, or maybe I've got some shady hookup at a dealership. But what if I told you this wasn't a one-off? What if I told you there are thousands of these cars out there, right now, hiding in plain sight, ignored, overlooked, and undervalued? These aren't your average used cars. These are what I call automotive immortals, vehicles so absurdly over-engineered, they're practically allergic to dying. Cars that were built before planned obsolescence, before plastic parts and disposable engines, back when durability wasn't a feature, it was the standard. And while everyone else is busy overpaying $19,000 for a 5-year-old compact car with 85,000 miles and questionable reliability, there's a whole forgotten market full of mechanical legends waiting to be rediscovered, many of them under $5,000. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly which cars routinely hit 500,000 miles, how to find them, how to know if you're getting a good one, and how to make them last forever. Because what I've uncovered isn't just a list of old cars, it's a cheat code for the broken used car market. And once you see what these machines are capable of, you'll never look at high mileage the same way again. Ready? Let's find your automotive immortal, the silent samurai. Not every immortal car needs to wear a badge of luxury or roll on oversized tires. Sometimes, the most unstoppable vehicles are the ones we pass on the street every single day, unnoticed, underestimated, and absolutely unshakable. Meet the 1990-1997 Honda Accord, powered by the humble but heroic F22 4-cylinder engine. On paper, it's just a basic family sedan. No leather seats, no turbo, no badge snobbery. But under the hood, it's a piece of precision Japanese engineering that's earned a reputation for outliving everything around it, including some of its owners. I came across a 1,994 Accord in Oregon. Get this, 485,000 original miles. Still running, still smooth, still reliable. The owner, Tom, bought it with 300,000 miles for just $1,800. And for the last 10 years, all he's done is regular oil changes, timing belts, and replacing basic wear items. The engine's never been opened. The transmission's never been rebuilt. The car just keeps going. This isn't an isolated case. The F22 engine is widely regarded as one of the most reliable 4-cylinders ever made. Honda took all the lessons they learned from decades of building bulletproof motorcycles, and they poured it into the Accord. What they built wasn't flashy, it was flawless. It was simple, balanced, and over-engineered in all the right places. And what's most impressive? These cars weren't designed to impress anyone. They weren't trying to compete with luxury sedans or SUVs. They were built to be practical, affordable, and dependable. Yet here they are, 30 years later, outliving cars that cost 5 times as much. Want to know the real kicker? They're practically being given away. While people are out here paying $15,000 for a used Civic with 100,000 miles, you can find one of these legendary Accords with 200 Kelvin, 300 Kelvin, or even 400 Kelvin miles for $2,000 to $3,000 all day long. And many of them are one-owner cars with detailed maintenance histories. Last month, I helped someone pick up a 1,996 Accord with 225,000 miles and a full-service logbook for $2,400. It drove tight, clean, and felt like it still had years of life left. No strange noises, no oil leaks, no drama. Just honest, mechanical reliability. Now I know what you're probably thinking. But it's an old car. Won't it fall apart? And that's the biggest myth of all. These Accords were built before planned obsolescence, before cars were made to be replaced every few years, before touchscreens replaced actual engineering. These vehicles don't just run, they thrive when maintained properly. And the cost to keep them running? A fraction of what you'd spend on a modern car. The Accord may not have the badge prestige of a Lexus or the tank-like body of a Land Cruiser, but make no mistake, it's every bit as immortal. If you want quiet reliability, cheap parts, and a drivetrain that just won't quit, the F22 Accord is one of the smartest automotive investments you'll ever make. o Lexus de billón de dólares. Now let's shift from rugged durability to refined perfection, but don't be fooled. This next car isn't just a luxury sedan. It's one of the most over-engineered vehicles ever made, and Toyota spent over $1 billion proving it. I'm talking about the Lexus LS400, specifically the 1995-1997 models. Back in the 92nd, Toyota set out to do the impossible, build a luxury car that could outperform the Mercedes S-Class, not just in comfort, but in longevity. They didn't cut corners. They didn't borrow parts. They built this car from scratch. Every bolt, every panel, every component was meticulously tested. The engine? The legendary one, UZFE V8, a power plant so smooth, so durable, they ran it for 1.5 million miles during development testing. Think about that. 1.5 million miles before it ever reached the public. Today, most modern engines aren't even designed to make it past 200,000. But the LS400? It was built with a different kind of ambition, not just to sell cars, but to prove Toyota could match or exceed the best in the world. I recently documented a 1,996 LS400-inch Florida with 425,000 miles. The owner, Sarah, bought it for $3,500 3 years ago, and it still drives like something you'd find in a premium showroom. The interior? Immaculate. The ride? Whisper, quiet. The engine? Doesn't burn a drop of oil between services. This isn't nostalgia talking. It genuinely feels new. And here's the mind-blowing part. That level of refinement doesn't fade. Even with over 300,000 miles, a well-maintained LS400 still glides over pavement like a Rolls-Royce. The suspension is buttery. The transmission shifts like silk. The cabin is silent. It's the kind of experience most people assume died with the luxury sedans of the early 2000s. But these cars are still out there, everywhere, parked quietly in suburban driveways, buried in Facebook Marketplace listings, ignored because of high mileage or outdated styling. But if you know what you're looking at, you'll realize these aren't old cars. These are forgotten masterpieces. And while everyone else is scrambling to buy overpriced, overcomplicated, short lifespan used cars, these LS400 second sit untouched, waiting to be rescued by someone who understands what they truly are. The catch? Not all of them were treated right, and buying the wrong one could lead to headaches. But the right LS400, with service records, careful owners, and that signature Toyota durability, is a better car at 300 Kelvin miles than most modern luxury sedans are brand new. This isn't just about saving money. This is about owning a piece of automotive history, one that still has hundreds of thousands of miles left to give. O tanque alemão indestructible. Now, let's talk about a machine that laughs in the face of time. A vehicle so absurdly durable, it's not even judged by mileage anymore, just by how many decades it's lasted. Enter the Mercedes-Benz W123, more specifically the legendary 300D model with the OM 617 5-cylinder diesel engine. This isn't just a car, it's a warhorse in disguise. Built between the late 72nd and mid-82nd, the W123 was Mercedes at its absolute peak when engineers ran the company, not accountants. I met Peter in Wisconsin. He daily drives a 1,983 Mercedes 300D. The odometer just rolled over 600,000 miles. Not a joke, not an exaggeration. 600,000. And it still runs like it's ready for another few 100,000 more. The interior? Faded. The paint? Weathered. But under the hood? Pure, unstoppable German engineering. He bought it 6 years ago for just $2,800 and has done almost nothing to it since just regular maintenance and religious oil changes. And guess what? It's never left him stranded. Not once. In a world where 3-year-old cars are already visiting the dealership for electrical issues, this 40-year-old diesel tank keeps rolling. What makes it so unkillable? Start with the OM 617 engine. This thing was designed to survive in every environment on Earth. Europe, Africa, the Middle East. Mercedes built it for longevity, not profit. In fact, there are documented cases of these engines crossing 1 million miles without a rebuild. Let that sink in. 1 million. But it's not just the engine. Every part of the W123 screams durability. The body panels are thick enough to survive low-speed collisions without a dent. The suspension was overbuilt to handle brutal, unpaved roads. The interior materials? They were chosen to last decades. It's a level of commitment to quality that feels almost alien by today's standards. And the best part? They're still affordable. While collectors throw money at gas-powered Mercedes coupes and AMG models, the diesel 123 seconds stay under the radar. You can find well-maintained examples for under $4,000 all day long. Just last week, I helped a viewer pick up a 1982 300D with 340,000 miles and full service records dating back to 1990 Prius for $3,200. Here's the truth. These cars were never built to impress. They were built to endure. And if you can find one that's been loved, not just driven, but truly cared for, it will likely outlast anything rolling off a dealership lot today. Forget turbocharged crossovers and touchscreen fatigue. This is industrial-grade transportation, built during a time when Mercedes-Benz cared more about legacy than quarterly earnings. And if you're looking for a car that you can pass down to your kids, or even your grandkids, the W123 diesel is about as close to immortal as anything with four wheels can get. Os titans esquecidos. Let's begin with what might just be the most indestructible vehicle ever built, the Toyota Land Cruiser 80 Series. Built between 1990 and 1997, this SUV isn't just a rugged off-roader. It's an icon forged in the fires of engineering obsession. This vehicle was never designed for mall parking lots or soccer practice runs. It was created with one brutal mission in mind: survive the Australian outback 24/7 for decades at a time, under punishing heat, dust, and terrain. Toyota knew they couldn't cut corners. So, they didn't. They overbuilt everything. I found one recently in Colorado, 487,000 miles on the odometer. Original engine, original transmission, still running as if it had 50,000. The owner, Mike, paid $3,800 for it 5 years ago. People laughed. But today, that same vehicle could outlive their brand new SUVs. Here's what you need to understand. This isn't a lucky case. It's a pattern. The inline-six engine under that hood, the one FZ-FE, is legendary. It's designed to run forever with nothing more than regular oil changes and a timing belt every 60,000 miles. No fancy tech, no turbocharged headaches, just pure analog reliability. But the magic of the Land Cruiser 80 Series isn't just in the engine, it's in the philosophy behind the build. Everything, from the suspension to the drivetrain, was made to operate in places where failure meant death. In the Outback, a breakdown isn't an inconvenience, it's life-threatening. That's the standard this vehicle was built to. Today, that same over-engineering is sitting unnoticed in backyards, barns, and online listings across the country. While buyers rush to finance $50,000 crossovers full of electronics waiting to fail, these mechanical masterpieces are going for under $5,000. Last week, I helped a subscriber pick up a 1991 Land Cruiser with 275,000 miles for $4,200. Not only did it come with a complete stack of maintenance records, but it felt like it still had half its life ahead of it. In any other vehicle, 275 Kelvin would mean the end of the road. In a Land Cruiser, that's barely broken in. And yet, most people won't even give these SUVs a second look. Why? Because they're old, because the mileage looks scary, because they don't understand what they're seeing. But you do now. These aren't just off-roaders. They're rolling proof that cars can be built to last forever. You just have to know where to look and what to look for, how to find your automotive legend. All right, now that you've seen what these cars are capable of, here's the question everyone asks. Where do I find one of these? The truth is, they're everywhere. You just need to know what to look for and where to look. These cars usually aren't sitting on dealership lots. They're hidden in Craigslist listings, Facebook Marketplace, local groups, small-town repair shops, under-the-radar auctions, and sometimes just parked in a retiree's garage collecting dust. Most people skip over these cars for one reason: the mileage. They see 350,000 miles and run the other way. But the few who know the difference between high miles and well-maintained understand. Maintenance matters way more than the number on the odometer, and that's exactly what you should be looking for. Look for vehicles with a maintenance history, ideally single-owner cars or ones clearly cared for. Avoid anything heavily modified or left sitting neglected. Prioritize those with original paint, clean interiors, and owners who speak with pride about their car. That says everything. Another trick? Visit independent mechanics and chat with the old school guys. They often know about cars that are parked but perfect, belonging to longtime clients who are ready to let them go for cheap. These cars aren't advertised. They're discovered through the right conversation at the right time. And here's a secret most people don't know. The owners of these immortal cars aren't selling because the car is broken. They're selling because they've stopped driving, bought a newer car for convenience, or were pressured to upgrade. They know the car still has life in it, and when they see that you understand its value, everything changes. One final tip: don't fear mileage, fear neglect. A 400,000-mile Toyota with regular oil changes is far more reliable than a modern car with 80,000 miles and years of skipped maintenance. Finding one of these legends is like mining for gold. It takes patience, attention, and knowledge. But when you finally sit behind the wheel of a car with hundreds of thousands of miles that still drives like new, you'll know what it means to trust something built to last, how to make them last even longer. You found your tank, a Toyota with 280,000 miles, or a dusty Honda with a strong, beating heart. Now comes the most important part. How do you make this car last even longer? Maybe forever. The first rule is simple: respect the machine. That means stop driving like your car is disposable. Change the oil religiously. Use the right fluids, not the cheapest, the correct ones. Many of these cars were designed to last with basic, regular care. Neglect is what kills even the most bulletproof engines. Learn to listen to the car. Literally, sounds tell stories. A new tick, a small vibration in the pedal, those are signs. Older cars speak to drivers who pay attention. And believe me, they reward you for it. The more you care, the more dependable they become. There's a nearly emotional connection between you and the machine when you treat it like a partner, not just a tool. Also, don't cheap out on parts. No shortcuts. No, this will hold for now. Using bad parts on a car that already proved its worth is like feeding expired food to an Olympic athlete. Always choose OEM or high-quality aftermarket brands. If possible, stick with a mechanic you trust, someone who understands old-school machines, not just how to plug in a scanner. Speaking of that, learn the basics yourself. You don't need to become a certified mechanic, but knowing how to change spark plugs, clean a throttle body, or replace a fuel filter, it saves you money and builds a deeper connection with your car. You start to feel its rhythm, its cycles, its signal. And here's the golden rule: treat the car like you're going to leave it as an inheritance. Every oil change, every carefully done repair, every properly sealed gasket, it's an investment. It may sound dramatic, but that mindset changes everything. Because someone who thinks long-term drives differently, cares differently, and gets rewarded with the trust that no modern car can offer. And the best part? You're not just saving money. You're driving with purpose. In a world obsessed with disposables, you're betting on durability, on resilience, on what's real. The big secret behind immortal cars? Here's the truth no one really talks about. These cars aren't just good because they got lucky, or because someone babied them. They're good because, back then, automakers actually cared about quality, durability, and mechanical engineering. In the 82nd and 92nd, before cars were ruled by computers, manufacturers were in an arms race to build the most reliable, overbuilt machines, not just to sell, but to make a name for themselves. The goal wasn't to impress with tech, but to engineer something that would stand the test of time. It was a time when over-engineering was the standard. Engines were heavier, parts were thicker, tolerances were generous, all designed to survive abuse and last for hundreds of thousands of miles. Maintenance was simple, by design. These weren't cars made to trap you in dealership service plans. They were made to keep running, no matter what. But then, everything changed. Corporate profits took over. Planned obsolescence became a strategy. Cars became rolling computers, packed with sensors and plastic parts, engineered for convenience and looks, not for longevity. And now, most new cars aren't built to last. They're built to expire and be replaced. The immortal cars in this video, they're relics of a lost era, living proof that when engineers were in charge, cars could be machines that outlast a generation. And that's why they're worth every penny, every repair, every ounce of care. Because each one is a time capsule, a reminder that cars once had a soul, and they were made to stand forever. But that window is closing fast. Fewer of these legends show up for sale each year, and more people are waking up to what they really are: treasures. So, if you're watching this now, consider yourself lucky because you still have a chance to find one, buy it, and drive something that won't just get you from A to B, it might just drive with you for life. Now that you know about these immortal cars, machines that defy time, the market, and common sense, it's clear that buying a vehicle doesn't have to be a gamble or just an endless expense. There's a hidden category, a secret market where true quality still reigns. These cars are more than just transportation. They're investments, stories on wheels, living proof that cars used to be built to last. If this video opened your eyes to a new way of thinking about used cars, quality, and value, drop a comment below. I want to know, which of these cars do you find the most incredible? Or which one do you dream of owning? And don't forget, if you enjoyed this content, hit that like button so more people can discover these hidden gems. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss when I find new immortal cars or reveal secrets on how to care for them. Share this video with friends and family who are tired of cars that only last a few years and want to invest in something that truly matters. Together, let's find and preserve these true legends of automotive engineering. See you in the next video, and happy hunting for your next forever machine.